Hey everybody, we're ready for The Truth About Truman School, Part 6. And we left off with Lily, and things were starting to get really messed up with all of these kids. I paced back and forth outside the noisy cafeteria. Dishes clattered and people were talking and laughing. I could see my friends crowded around our usual table over by the windows. Haley, Brianna, Cassie, Kylie, and Morgan, the popular girls. There was an open seat between Haley and Brianna. I could just walk over there and sit down like it was any other day, but what if they all got up and left the minute I did? They wouldn't do that, I told myself. Those girls are your friends. Don't be afraid to go over there. You belong there. Or I could sit with Reese and his friends. This wasn't boyfriend day, though. We didn't normally eat with the boys unless we'd all decided it ahead of time. The boys would probably think it was weird if I showed up at their table by myself. Plus, they could have seen that picture of me too, and they might make a bigger deal of it than the girls. Boys weren't always the most mature people in the world. In the end, I decided it was better to take a chance with the girls, so I forced myself to walk over there. "Hi," I said, forcing a smile. I plopped my books and my lunch bag down on the table. Cassie and Kylie looked up at me, but neither one said a word. Morgan kept her head bent over her sandwich. Haley was the only one who spoke to me. "Hey, Lily," she smiled back, pulling out my chair, and we patted the seat. "We were wondering where you were." "You were?" Why was Haley acting all friendly to me when no one else was even looking at me? "Sorry, I didn't wait for you by the rock this morning, Lily," Brianna said as she stirred her yogurt. "I had to put lunch money in my account." "And I had to return a library book," Cassie said. "Me too," Kylie piped in. I just kept trying to act normal. "It's okay," I said, like I hadn't even noticed they weren't at the rock. I unzipped my lunch bag, took out my turkey sandwich. "We did wait for you in the bathroom, though," Haley said. "What? No, you didn't," I said. "I was in the bathroom. I was there until the bell rang. You guys never came in. You left me in there alone with Sarah Freakazoid Murphy." They all looked confused. "Yes, we did," Cassie insisted. "We were there until the bell rang, too," Kylie said. I didn't know what to say. They weren't there. I knew they weren't. Why would they lie about it to my face? "Uh-oh," Brianna said, slapping the side of her head. "Didn't you get the email?" I looked at her. "What email?" "I don't really like having our bathroom so far away from everything," Haley said with a shrug. "So I decided we should claim the one by the front stairs instead. I emailed everybody last night." Haley moved our bathroom just like that? "That creepy Sarah Murphy was in there putting gunk on her arms," Cassie said, wrinkling her nose. At first I didn't think she was going to leave. "Yeah, we all walked in and Haley goes, 'This is our bathroom now. From now on, your bathroom is the one on the second floor at the end of the hall,' Morgan said, imitating Haley's voice perfectly. But she just ignored Haley and kept putting that stuff on her arms. "So we all sort of moved in closer to her," Brianna said. "After all, there were 5 of us and 1 of her." "Yeah, and then she all of a sudden spun around and raised her arms like she was going to touch us," Haley said. "So we all jumped back because she had that stuff all over her hands." "Then you know what she did?" Brianna asked me. "She started laughing." "She has the most bizarre laugh you've ever heard in your life," Kylie said. I have to get better at page turning. And everyone else nodded and laughed. "I didn't get any email," I said. "Really?" Haley said. She shrugged. "I wonder why not." Amber. I really hate it when people ask me what religion I am. Most of the time they already know when they ask. I'm Muslim. They just like to hear me say it so they can all act shocked, like no Muslims live in the United States. FYI, I was born in the United States. My parents come from Jordan and we are Muslim, but I'm as American as anyone else at school. I just don't celebrate Christmas. I pray 5 times a day, I fast for Ramadan, and I don't eat pork or drink alcohol. I also can't date or go to dances. Sometimes kids give me a hard time about that, like back in the 6th grade. Lily told me she wanted to be my girlfriend and go to the fall dance with me. She knew I wasn't allowed to go to the dance, So I couldn't figure out why she asked me. And I was trying to figure out a nice way to tell her I couldn't go, since it seemed like she really wanted to go with me. Then I found out the reason she asked me was because her new friends thought it would be funny if she pretended she wanted to be my girlfriend. The whole point was to make me look stupid and make fun of me because of my religion. After they admitted it was all just a big joke, Lily said to me, "I suppose I'm on your terrorist list now?" I gaped at her. "What?" I said. I couldn't believe she'd say something like that to me. Lily was my friend, or she used to be. She knew how much a comment like that hurt. Then Brianna said, "Are you going to blow us all up when we grow up, Amber?" And then they all laughed. Her, Lily, and Haley. Kids say things like that to Muslim kids all the time. I know people at Saturday school who don't want any of their school friends to know they're Muslim. One girl I know wears a hijab to mosque, but not to school. It's like she's ashamed of who she is. I'm not ashamed of my religion. If any of my friends have a problem with me being Muslim, then they're not really my friends. I guess that was how I knew for sure that I didn't just have a fight with Lily back in the 6th grade. Lily stopped being my friend. Some things you just don't joke about. Lily didn't get that back in the 6th grade, but maybe she was starting to get it now. With me, you don't joke about being Muslim or being a terrorist. With Lily, you don't joke about her being fat. Lily. We never talked about that picture. I knew all my friends saw it. I knew they all knew it was me, but we never actually talked about the fact that I used to look like that. We never talked about the fact someone had gotten a hold of that picture and put it online. And we never talked about the fact that people were saying some not very nice things about me on that website. I got a few anonymous emails, not just Milk and Honey, other people too. They said things like, "Wow, you used to be really fat." Or, "Be careful, Lily, it looks like you're gaining a few pounds." Or, "If you start getting too fat, your friends will drop you." But for the most part, people were treating me pretty normal to my face. I mean, at first, it was just the one day that Haley's mom didn't give me a ride to school. We rode together every day after that. Haley, Brianna, and I either went to the media center to look up new cheers after school, or we went to the gym to practice our cheers. And Reese still called or IM'd me every night. So on the outside, everything seemed normal, but something still felt off to me, like maybe things weren't really what they seemed. And I couldn't help but wonder if it was some of my friends who had sent those anonymous emails. But maybe that was just me being paranoid again. People think that if you're popular, you've got it made. But that's not true. You have to work hard at being popular. You have to wear the right clothes and hang with the right people and do the right things. It's hard because people are always watching and waiting for you to screw up. Anonymous. Spreading that picture around was just step one in my plan. I wanted everyone to know that Lily was not always the person she appears to be now. She wasn't always so special. When things started to die down, I put phase 2 of my Bring Lily Down plan into action. Zebby. Now that the truth about Truman has readers, I worked my butt off to keep them. I cranked out new articles as fast as I could. I archived anything that was a week old and wasn't getting comments, like the article I did on the new math curriculum. I couldn't believe it. The new math curriculum affects every student at Truman, but not one person had anything to say about it. Lots of people commented on Amber's article about the short passing time between classes, though, and 103 people had commented on Lily's picture. It's just not one was commenting on the stuff that really mattered. Well, what could you expect from middle school kids? I hoped the new stuff I was putting up would interest them a little more. I wrote about the Quiz Bowl taking second in the state, the drama club's auditions for Wizard of Oz, and I listed new books that the media center just got. You know, stuff you'd see in a regular school paper. Then there was the day-old cupcake incident. Believe it or not, our school sold day-old cupcakes, and some of those cupcakes turned out to be moldy. But you couldn't tell they were moldy until you took the wrapper off. Amber almost lost his whole lunch when he noticed the mold on his cupcake. "Yuck," I said. "I'm glad I didn't buy one." I looked around to see how many other kids had bought them. Sarah Murphy had. Most people won't let her sit at their table, so she usually sat at the other end of our table. Amber warned her, "You better not eat that. Mama's moldy." But she acted like she didn't even hear Amber. We both watched as she slowly unwrapped her cupcake and shoved the whole thing in her mouth without even checking to see if it was moldy. It was like she was taunting us or something. I don't know. She could be a little weird. Anyway, the whole school thing gave me an idea for a big feature story. School food. Is it safe? We wrapped up Amber's moldy cupcake and brought it home so we could take a picture of it for the Truth About Truman. Day-old cupcakes, indeed. More like month-old, I'm guessing. Personally, I didn't think the school should even be allowed to sell stuff that wasn't fresh. McDonald's throws out hamburgers that have been sitting out for more than 10 minutes. The health department says they have to. Doesn't the health department have rules about what schools can serve too? I decided to call the health department and find out. Guess what they said? Schools aren't supposed to sell day-old food at all. And guess what else? The lady I talked to at the health department said they would schedule a surprise visit to Truman to make sure they were up to code on everything. I didn't know whether any teachers read The Truth About Truman, but just in case they did, I decided not to write about the health department's surprise visit. I still had enough material to write a really good article. This was going to be the lead story on the site. Or so I thought. The day my article was about school food went up on the site, something else appeared that got people talking even more than my article and the picture of Amber's moldy cupcake. Secret, secret. Who's got a secret? What did you all think of that picture of Lily Clark? She used to be a real porker, didn't she? Well, guess what? She's got an even bigger secret than that. Log into the site again tomorrow to find out what it is. Milk and honey. Trevor. Milk and honey? Who's Milk and Honey? It was like that was all anyone talked about at school. Some people thought it was Zebby Bauer because she and Lily used to be friends and now they weren't. Plus, she was the one who started the Truth About Truman website. But other people thought it was somebody in the popular group, somebody who wanted to nudge Lily out. Nobody asked my opinion on the whole thing, which was fine. If I named somebody, no matter who it was, I probably would have got my head shoved in a toilet. And if I didn't name a name, I probably still would have got my head shoved in a toilet. A guy like me can never win. Lily. Enough was enough. I was not going to let Zebby and Amber ruin everything I'd worked so hard for the past 2 years. Zebby ignored the email I sent her, so this time I picked up the phone and called her. I hated that I still had her phone number memorized. I want you to stop, I said right away when she picked up. I saw no reason to make small talk. Pause. Who is this? Zebby asked. I couldn't believe she didn't recognize my voice or check her caller ID. It's Lily. Oh, Zebby said coolly. I could tell by the way her voice changed that she really didn't know who I was until I told her. What do you want? I just told you what I want. I want you to stop. Stop sending me emails. Stop posting stuff about me on your stupid website. Stop everything. Zebby paused again. I don't know what you're talking about. I sighed. Did I have to spell it out? Milk and honey, I said. Duh. What about it? I know you're Milk and Honey, I said, daring her to deny it. In fact, I'll bet it's you and Amber together. Zebby let out a short laugh. It's not. Right. It's not. I don't even know any secrets about you anymore, Zebby said. In case you hadn't noticed, we haven't exactly been hanging out much lately. Thank God for that. Well, maybe it's something from back when we were hanging out. Like what? Zebby asked. I thought your big secret was what you used to be. Well, heavier than you are now. And not very popular. But everyone already knows that now. Thanks to you. It's your website, so it has to be you spreading all that stuff around. You or Amber. How do you know it's our website? Zebby asked. I rolled my eyes. Please, everyone knows. Really? Zebby actually sounded happy about that. Don't sound so excited, I said. I'm not going to let you ruin my life. Ruin your life? Zebby let out a short laugh. I have news for you, Lily. I don't care enough about you anymore to bother ruining your life. I felt a little chill when she said that. What if she was telling the truth? If Zebby wasn't Milk and Honey, then I had no idea who was, or what that person thought they knew about me. Zebby. A lot of people figured out that Amber and I started the Truth About Truman, but they didn't care. They read it anyway. A couple kids even came up to me in the hall and said, "Great site, Zebby." I don't think I got this much attention when I put blue streaks in my hair. That just goes to show you there was a real need for a newspaper that represents our whole school, even if a few people were using it for purposes other than what we originally intended. Zebby and Amber probably think I'm this horrible person who dropped them in 6th grade just so I could join the popular crowd. Oh, I'm sorry, we switched to Lily. It wasn't like that. Well, maybe it was sort of, but it wasn't anywhere near as cold as that. We grew apart, that's it. That's all that happened. My parents grew apart. According to my mom, that's why they got divorced. Well, sometimes friends grew apart too, especially in middle school. Zebby and Amber just don't care about a lot of the same stuff I care about. There was this time in 6th grade when we were walking home from the mall together, and they started singing right out in public, and it wasn't even a real song. It was just some random bizarro thing. The point is, I told them to stop because people were looking at us, but they wouldn't stop. In fact, they locked arms and started doing it louder. They even started skipping. It was totally immature, not to mention embarrassing. No matter what we were doing, whenever I said to them, "You guys, people are looking at us," their response was always, "So?" They didn't care. They never cared what anyone thought of them. It was like they were still in elementary school. They just wanted to run around the house singing stupid songs and hanging out in the tree house. I was past all that. And, well, when I lost all that weight right before 6th grade, the popular girls welcomed me into their group. It wasn't that I dropped Zebby and Amber for the popular crowd. Once we got to middle school, I found a crowd that suited me better than they did. Did that really make me such a terrible person? Haley. A lot of people probably don't realize this, but it's a lot of work being popular. And if you're like the most popular girl in the popular group, it's even more work, because you have to figure out what's in and what's out and who's in and who's out. The whole school depends on you to tell them stuff like that. Sometimes I like to sort of push the envelope, if you know what I mean. Like once I told people that these really tacky shirts from Target were in. Hello, they were from Target. But it didn't matter. The very next day, like 5 girls came to school in those ugly shirts. It makes me wonder sometimes, how far could I go? What kinds of things would people like Brianna or Cassie or Kylie do for no other reason than I told them to? Brianna. I don't mean to sound whiny or anything, but no one ever listens to me. If people had listened to me back in 6th grade, we never would have started hanging out with Lily. I never understood what Haley or anyone else saw in her. She wasn't all that pretty. She didn't have a great personality. She didn't even live in a very nice house. So why did Haley let her start hanging with us back in 6th grade? We first met Lily at gymnastics the summer before 6th grade. She was new at gymnastics that year, and I remember she was totally scared of the uneven bars. Isn't that weird? I mean, why would you even sign up for gymnastics if you're scared of the uneven bars? But she was. And I think she was scared of the balance beam and the vault too. She only liked the floor exercise. We didn't pay much attention to her at gymnastics since we didn't know her. When we saw her at Truman in the fall, we were like, "Hey, we know you." But it wasn't any big deal. We still didn't start hanging out with her. That didn't happen until I had my appendix out. I'm not entirely sure how it happened, since I wasn't there. I was in the hospital. But Haley said there was an uneven number in gymnastics that day, and somehow she and Lily ended up spotting each other. Then they ended up sitting together at lunch at school. I have no idea how that happened. And before I was even up and around after my operation, Lily had wormed her way into our group. I didn't get it. Couldn't Haley see that Lily just wasn't one of us? But Haley seemed to think she was exactly like us, better than us even. "Look how everyone turns and watches her when she walks down the hall," Haley said. "She must have been really popular at her old school. If so, we hang with her. We'll be popular too. You want to be popular, don't you, Brianna?" Of course I wanted to be popular, but I wondered if Lily was really as popular as Haley thought she was. I mean, she didn't dress like a popular girl, not back then. But Haley was right about people in the halls gawking at her. Everyone always turned and looked whenever she walked by. Like I said, I didn't get it, but whatever. We started hanging with her. And by Christmas, the 3 of us were the girls everyone wanted to be friends with. We were the popular girls. Anonymous. Have you ever noticed that people say and do things online they would never do in real life? It's true. For instance, I would never go up to Lily and say, "Wow, you used to be really fat." But I don't have any problem saying that to her online. It's different online. You can say or do whatever you want online because no one has to know it's you saying or doing those things. And you don't actually have to face the person you're being mean to. We'll stop there for part 6, and we'll pick up hopefully today again with part 7, starting with Lily.